a stretch run of your Hawkeye career here?
I cannot believe it. It really flew by. 4 years is a short amount of time.
I'm sure there was at some point in your career where you thought, maybe I might go somewhere else and play some more and whatnot. What ultimately were the biggest reasons why you decided to stay here?
I think, first of all, the people, my teammates, I couldn't imagine not being with them every day. They're what makes this whole thing worth it. And then also, when Coach Bluter retired and Coach Jay took the spot, I talked to her and said, I committed to play for Iowa. That includes her. Obviously, she was here first. So it was a no-brainer for me to recommit to her and just stay and be a part of that process as well.
I was expecting a long response Sunday when you were out, when you got the microphone. You kept it really brief. Was that emotions kicking in, or what was kind of the circumstance with that?
Yeah, definitely emotions. I planned in my head a little bit of a longer spiel, but I don't know. I just get choked up talking about my teammates. That was when I was like, I should probably pass the mic. But I definitely wanted to give them a lot more credit. They're the most important thing to me. So, yeah.
This program's always, obviously, the rise has coincided with everyone mattering and all that. What do you feel like your role is in hammering that home as this program is taken off?
Yeah, I think definitely with my injury especially, I've taken a step back from like the whole basketball player identity, and I feel like I've more so kind of slipped into a little mini assistant coach that nobody hired, but I'm here. So I think something that's important for me is doing what the upperclassmen did when I was an underclassman, checking in on me, making sure that I was doing okay. If I needed help on anything or with anything, they were always there for me. So I feel like that's kind of the role I've more so taken, just making sure that, everyone gets a hug. I'm always checking in on people. You get comfortable and you can kind of tell when somebody's having an off day, and making sure that, if things are going south in their life, they at least feel loved when they're at practice or in Carver.
On that, I asked Jan about you like last month, and she described you as kind of like the good cop of the program. I guess, is that a role you feel naturally? Sounds like that's kind of what you've always been, but is that kind of a role you fit naturally?
Yeah, that's a really good way to describe it, honestly. I feel like I kind of am a good cop in life. I'm in school to be a teacher, so I'm in the classroom all the time, and I feel like I also take that role there as well. Like, I know we're supposed to be having fun, but this is also what we do, and I don't know, there's a lot of similarities in teaching elementary and being with college teammates, so I feel like I do the same thing in lots of areas.
What are some of the similarities?
Funny you ask. I have started like keeping track of just all the crazy things that I'm with kindergarten right now, and they'll come up and tell you like, I don't know, just wild things, and my 20-year-old teammates do the same thing, and I just have to be like, thank you so much for sharing. That is very interesting. I'm glad you were able to talk about that. That is one big similarity.
I want to go back to a couple years ago when everything was at its height with Caitlin and all the craziness, and I'm sure there was a lot of times when she just wanted to be a college kid and all that. How much do you feel like your relationship with her helped maybe mitigate some of that noise, when it was, not that it's slowed down really, but just, you guys had so many distractions, and her in particular. How much do you feel like you kind of kept things as normal as possible during her time?
Yeah, I mean, I can't take too much credit. I'd probably have to ask her first, but I don't know. I feel like just when I look at her, I just see her as, Caitlin, not necessarily the whole Caitlin Clark character that she is to the public. So, I mean, we spent a lot of time just like sitting in my apartment playing Fortnite, watching TikToks, laughing, like just doing regular college-aged girl things. And I feel like that was a good step down. Like people ask me all the time to talk about like what's going on in her sports life, and like that is a completely different person that I do not know as well. Like I just know Caitlin on a friendship basis, and I think having that relationship hopefully helped her. It sure did help me, and kind of eliminate the noise in that aspect.
So what does your future, we asked Taylor, what's your dream next 10 years?
That's a lot of time. Well, like I said, I'm in school to be a teacher, so that's kind of my goal. Get a job. I'm student teaching next August through December in Des Moines, so I'm excited for that. Love Des Moines. And yeah, get a job, be a teacher, mold young minds. That's kind of all that's on my plate right now. Everything else will iron itself out.
How have you seen Jan grow and develop from going from being an assistant coach to being the head coach, and even now that you've been injured and you've taken an off-court role, how have you seen, like, how's your perspective on her changed?
I'm really proud of her. I think that she talks about it a little bit, but she doesn't ever give herself enough credit. Those are really big shoes to fill. Coach Bluter, obviously following in her footsteps. But I think one thing that I've noticed that I maybe haven't told her enough, or that I should, is her confidence. I think going from last year to this year, I feel like there was a lot of times where it's easy to let doubt creep in, especially in the world of social media, and everyone has an opinion on everything all the time. I think she's done a really good job staying grounded and knowing that, just like she would tell us, we have everything we need. She has everything that she needs to be a great head coach. And I've seen that definitely shift from her first year to her second year, and I'm really proud of her for that.
Speaking of off-the-court roles, what have you seen from Taylor McCabe so far after her injury?
Well, I think, she never let us see that it was challenging for her. She kind of just stepped right into a role similar to mine, where she's advising when she can. If you ever watch during like timeouts or huddles, she'll be like, Jada, come here, and give me like a piece of insight to tell a guard, or just something to put in on the huddle. I think she knows a lot more than people give her credit for. She's really basketball smart. And so using that, it's one thing to show people what to do. And she obviously can't do that right now. So telling people what to do, giving advice, I think she's really stepped into a big role in that aspect.